Worldwide Women Speakers. We coach, speak, and train on purpose. Connect with us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com.
Welcome to the Worldwide Women Speakers Online Conference featuring the Worldwide Women Speakers Dream Team and sponsored by worldwidewomenspeakers.com. I'm your host, R.J. Jackson, the Courage Giver, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you today the Worldwide Women Speakers Dream Team featuring Mindset Maven Athena Blue, Law of Attraction Coach Angela Denise, and Holistic Transformational Coach Tamika Haynes. Again, I'm your host, R.J. Jackson, the Courage Giver, and thank you for being our very special VIP guest. We're nothing without you, and today we celebrate you. Our theme for today's online conference is She Came, She Conquered, and She Celebrated. We want to encourage you to know that it's time for you to see your way through your current situation. See, come on. Don't lay there and die. Get up, girl. See, conquer that which is before you. So there's not a thing you can do for that which is behind you. See, celebrate your wins. It's time. It's time to show up, conquer, and celebrate. We invite you to get your pen and paper out, and don't forget, bring your heart along, because we're going to be infusing you with the confidence and courage you need, deserve, and have been longing for to be the best you were created to be. Oh, by the way, bring your courage on too, girl, because you're going to need it. Now, if you're ready, we invite you to join the Worldwide Women Speakers Dream Team in a down-to-earth, authentic conversation, including success strategies and their transparent story of showing up, conquering, and celebrating. I'm honored that at the end of the conversation that I get to invite you to take action. And yes, courage is required. But don't worry, we're going to fill up your cup so that it will overflow. And you, my sister, well, you'll be ready to go. So without further ado, I introduce to you the Worldwide Women Speakers Dream Team. She came, she conquered, she celebrated. Let's find out what it means to come, conquer, and celebrate. Let's talk about showing up. Athena, let's get this conversation going, girl. What does it mean to you to show up?
Thank you, RJ, and I'm so glad to be here with you and all the other ladies here. And I just hope you guys can learn from our stories and can maybe get some knowledge and some encouragement from it so that you can know how to show up and when you need it to be on time. Well, to me, showing up means showing up for myself first and foremost. And this means loving myself and honoring myself and doing what I need to do to take good care of myself so that I can be my best and at my best. And how I show up for myself may not be the same way someone else shows up. So showing up for each person can be very unique and very individual, because only you can know what you need to actually help yourself or what you need when you need it. But there are some things that may be common to all of us. And one of the things is your mind talk. What's going on up in your mind? Are you talking positively to yourself, or are you talking negatively to yourself? So we need to watch our self-talk. And also, as women, we need to be kind and compassionate to ourselves, because we beat ourselves up more so than anybody else. So these are just a couple things that we may have in common as far as showing up, but some of the things that I do is also watch my self-talk and just be kind to myself and I have to meditate to just keep myself going in the right positive vibration. That's a couple of things I do, and that's what showing up means to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Mindset Maven, Athena Blue. Tamika, we want to hear from you. Showing up, because that's something most women are afraid to do. So let's talk about it. What does that mean for you to show up?
Yes, thank you, RJ. Welcome, ladies, and I'm so happy to be here as we impart wisdom and talk about what it means to show up and the different ways we can show up. So to piggyback off of what Athena said, once you show up for yourself, then you're then able to fully be ready to show up and be visible and present for other people and to the world. You know, you can commit to doing something with an intention and to make an impact. You're able to make an impact once you showed up for yourself and you put yourself in a position to make that impact. You're going to add value and bring value to whatever it is that you're showing up to. And you're going to be able to also help to bring value out of other people. That's, you know, once you showed up for yourself and you show up in whatever environment or, you know, work, whatever it may be for your family. It's not just to show up so you can be present. It's also to show up so that you can bring the value out of that environment, out of those people, and out of everyone that's around you.
So what I hear you saying and Athena saying is, hey, you got to start with you. If you want to show up, you got to first understand that there's value inside of you, and you got to let the world see that value so that you can give it away, and other people can understand they have value too. All right, ladies, I hear you talking. Now, I don't want to leave out Miss Angela. So, Angela Denise, tell me, if you will, please, show up for us right now, girl, and tell us what it's all about.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much, RJ, for allowing us to be on this platform. And then, hello, ladies. I just want to say, you know, hello and just welcome here, just being able to just listen to us and allowing us to really to pour into you, to use what we've been through and our accomplishments and things that we've even failed at as well, and then also been able to just bounce back and then just using our stories to really pour into you. So thank you so much. I think the ladies have, you know, really given us some good feedback as far as with the question is showing up. And accountability is what comes to my mind. And I know with Ms. Tamika, she said about, you know, bringing value, and that's so good. Not just bringing value, you know, for yourself, but bringing value for others as well, too. And then for me, it just really means being accountable, being committed. The first step of accomplishing anything is showing up. That's like 50% of whatever you need to get done, whatever that you need to get accomplished, is showing up. If you can show up in the room, if you can show up in the room for your family, if you can show up in the room for your audience, if you can show up in the room for anybody that you are bringing value to, that is half of what you need to do in order to accomplish your goals. Is showing up, getting up every single day and being accountable for what you need to be accomplished with, being accountable, and then also being committed to showing up as well.
You know, you ladies are throwing out some powerful words, and when you talk about showing up, seriously, sometimes we have a problem with just getting up. Like, how do we show up when we can't even get up? Because life is knocking us down.
So I think if, you know, life has knocked us down and we're having a hard time getting up, that is where, and I know I've said this like so many times, I've really done this for myself as well too. And, you know, for ladies, if you're having a hard time getting up, really that's when that self-talk comes in. That's when being a cheerleader comes in. That's when being a motivator for yourself comes in. You have to be there for yourself first before you can be there for anybody else. You have to, even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't feel like getting out the bed, even when you don't feel like moving, even when you don't feel like doing anything, you still have to make yourself get up. When you get up, you feel so much better. When you get up, you're able to accomplish something. When you get up, you're able to really, be there for yourself, but not only be there for yourself, be there for others. You see, God has put something in you that's so powerful. But if you fail yourself and you fail others, then you're not able to accomplish that goal. That you're not able to accomplish what He's instilled in you. So you have to make sure that even if you don't feel like it, even if you're tired, even if you're sick, you have to know in your mind that every single day that God wakes me up, I need to get up. And I need to make it happen.
So true, so true. I totally agree with what Angela's saying. You've got to be accountable, especially if you're a single mom or, you are a working mom. You just got to, because if you got kids that depend on you, and you can't let those children down. You've got to be aware. Number one, I keep thinking about, mindset. You have to have that mind right. And even when you don't feel like it, you've got to get that mind right to put yourself in the position where you can go out and do what you need to do, because you've got people depending on you, people who can't do for themselves. You have to do it for them. You have to take care of them. And also, I can remember, being in a low point, and I use visualization just to help me to get myself up. I do it with meditation. I have to see myself conquering a situation that I dislike or I don't want to do. I have to see myself just doing it and putting myself in the right frame of mind and just going and doing it anyway. And you got to be present. Be present in that moment, just so that you can be fully focused and clear on what it is you're doing and what you have to do. And sometimes that can just wash away that mundaneness of it or that negativity of it, just by being clear and focused on what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay? That why is very important. Not just what you're doing, but why are you doing it? What is your ultimate reason or goal or purpose for doing what you're doing? And if it's to feed that baby, if it's to pay that bill so that you can have a roof over your head, then that little mundane task or whatever it is you're doing is well worth it.
I definitely agree, because sometimes we have to find a reason to get up, something that's outside of ourselves. We have to find a bigger purpose and not really make it about ourselves. I know I have also been in, positions and times in life where I didn't want to get out of the bed, or I didn't want to go to work, or, but there was a bigger purpose. Like Athena said, you have to pay those bills. You have to take care of your baby. And, for some of us, in whatever position we're in, we're empowering other people. So we have to focus on something other than what we're feeling emotionally. And sometimes that gives us the motivation, and that will give you the motivation to do that thing that you need to do to get up. It will put you in the mindset of, not focusing on what's going on with you right then and there, but to focus on the task at hand or the purpose that you've been given to fulfill. And that would jumpstart you into getting up and doing what you need to do.
All of you have actually talked about not feeling like it. Tell us a time when you can say you seriously didn't feel like it, or perhaps God called you to do something and you felt you weren't qualified. So when it came to the fact that it was time for you to show up, you went MIA, missing in action, or maybe MIF, missing in fear. Or maybe it's MID, missing in doubt. Because there's so many things that keeps us from showing up. Tell us about a time that happened for you.
The time that comes to mind off the top of my head is when I was selected to be the chairperson for our director's advisory group. And we were the first inaugural group for our entire organization, an organization of almost 1,000 people. So the fear set in, like, oh, how am I going to accomplish this task? How am I going to accomplish the goals that the director has set in front of us to get these things done? There were days that the job in itself was stressful because we were going through a big, merger, and a lot of things were changing, and just doing the job itself outside of taking on that position was a lot of stress. So, the doubt came, the fear came. Am I going to do a good job? Am I going to deliver the results that the organization needs? Because this is for the entire organization. It's not just for me. So that goes back to what I said before. It was a purpose bigger than me. And there were days that I didn't want to show up. There were days where I wanted to cancel meetings, honestly. But I knew that it was something that had to be done for others. It wasn't necessarily for me. So I had to step aside and just forget about, the fear or the intimidation of the position or what I had to do, because we were going to, be the foundation for those that would be taken over after we would leave those positions. And it was very important to, get off on the right foot and get things going in the right direction. So, I turned all of those doubts and that fear around by showing up like we're saying today. I kept my eyes on the bigger picture, the bigger vision. I put my emotions to the side, no matter how I felt. Some things I agreed with, some things I didn't disagree with. But I was there to bring value to the organization. It wasn't about me. So I faced my fears, and in that also builds your confidence, because you're doing something that you probably felt like you shouldn't have done, or you are not qualified to do. But sometimes God calls you to do things that you're not qualified to do, because he's giving you that strength and he's giving you that assignment for a reason.
So, Tamika, I understand exactly where you're coming from and everything, because, I had a similar situation that was in my job as well. And I used to be really scared to speak. Where I used to be really scared to speak, where I would be sweating bullets, knees shaking, thought I was going to pass out. And one day I had one of my bosses that told me he wanted me to be the keynote speaker at the graduation. I used to work at a small college. And I was really, floored when he said that. I was just, in shock, and immediately went to fear and panic, and oh my God, how in the world am I going to, accomplish this? Just knowing how I've been over the years in speaking in front of people. And I had to really step back for a minute and realize that it wasn't just about me, that it was really about, the students that we've, assisted over the years, that we've really motivated over the years, and that we're really there for them to make sure that they've accomplished their goals, that they will now go off and be the best that they can be as individuals and as adults and everything like that. So I really had to really take a step back and then use it as a learning curve, and really embrace the opportunity, and then also listen to him as a mentor and giving me guidance and everything like that. Because if I've had to really let the fear take over, I wouldn't have been there. I probably wouldn't be here today, speaking in front of, everyone today, and just really been stuck somewhere, not saying too much, not talking and things like that, because I am generally, shy or introvert and whichever. So just really taking that step, really showing up, really not thinking that it's about me, but knowing that it's about how I can make an impact on someone else, that I can help them better their lives, that I can provide value to them. It was about, showing up that night, being there, also, putting aside all the fears that I had and everything. And even with, as I speak every day now, there's still some fear there. But every day I put in my mind that, okay, I'm going to conquer. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show up. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to pour everything that I have into every woman, every child that I can. And that's what it's all about, providing the value, showing up, and knowing that it's bigger than you. It's way bigger than what you can even imagine. But you have to make sure that you get up, you get out, and then you show up.
Both of you ladies have hit on something that probably most women go through, and that's, when they're thrust into a position of leadership, they are fearful of being able to do it. I had the same type of response when I stepped into the role of being nurse manager. And I had never been in a leadership position before, didn't quite know what I was stepping into. And when I did, I was like, oh, my God, what have I done? I had just thrown myself into a cauldron of huge responsibility, stress, confusion, and negativity. I mean, there were people coming at me from all sides. I did not know how to respond to all that I was going through. And as a result, my blood pressure shot up. I was physically tense and experiencing muscle spasms all over my body. I knew I had to get in control of my reactions. And so, not knowing all this stuff that, we're talking about now, I just had to draw on what I knew to do at the time. And since I am a super fan hero, I love watching superhero movies, I just started to draw on some of the characteristics of some of my favorite superheroes. Being in a leadership position when you're dealing with a lot of people, you got to have a steel spine. So I said, I'm going to be just like Wolverine, so don't laugh at me. But it worked for me. I just steeled my spine just like I was Wolverine covered with adamantium, and things all of a sudden, didn't begin to hurt me so much. I just had my shield up and everything. And people's negativity didn't penetrate me, but then I also have a superhero in Star Trek. I love Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock is so cool, calm, and very logical. And so I took on his demeanor as well. And so I didn't get frazzled whenever challenges and changes were happening in the OR, because as they say in the operating room, there's one thing that's always constant, and that's change. And so over time, I gradually, began to own up to these characteristics that I had kind of taken on, and people started to notice, and they started to say, "Thing, you're different from the way you used to." Because Angela, like you, I was quiet, I was really, really nice. I was always asking people, "Will you do this and will you do that?" And after it was all over, I was telling people what to do and when they needed to do it. And they said, "Wow, you have really changed." I said, "Yes, I have. I'm turned into you guys have made me change into this type of person. So I have you to thank for it." So that, I had to learn how to show up for that position of leadership, because walking into it, I was timid, scary, weak in my voice. But, after taking on these superhero characters, that I say, or qualities, I became a leader. So I can see how these things happen and how we have to step up and take control, because it wasn't for my good. It was to help me physically, but it was for the good of the patients that came through our OR, we had to have a smooth running operating room so that people could come in and get out, cases could get done, and people could go home at the end of the day. So that was the greater value of me stepping into that position and learning how to do it and learning how to be a leader.
Athena, I love the superhero, theme and everything that you use. I think that is awesome. I really think even looking at my scenario, I mean, that's like a great, caption, to really use. I know as women sometimes we're like Superwoman trying to do everything and making sure everybody's taken care of or whichever. So, I definitely love that, superhero theme and everything. And I think that really goes, well with all women. Really we have a superhero within us. We can really get out there. We can really show up. I know sometimes we may be shy, sometimes we may be quiet, sometimes we may be reserved, sometimes we may just be scared, we just may be fearful, but we have to make sure that we pull out that superhero within ourselves and that we show up.
I totally agree with both Athena and Angela, because when we show up, when we put on our Wonder Woman wristbands, that's who I am. I'm Wonder Woman. So when we put on our Wonder Woman wristbands, or like Athena says, she's Wolverine, and we just show up and we conquer that thing, whether it's fear, whether it's doubt, whether it's just the intimidation of speaking, whether it's the intimidation of taking a new job, a leadership position. It could even be becoming a new wife or a new mother. When we conquer those things, when we stand up and we conquer those things and face them, we just feel so good, and we know and build the confidence in knowing that we can do anything that life hands us, and we can tackle anything that life hands us. It definitely instills more confidence. It definitely overcomes fear, and any battle that's won against fear is definitely something to be proud of, because, it's pretty hard and intimidating when we have to do new things and we have to tackle new positions and do things that we've never done before, that we feel like we may fail at, but we conquer it, we overcome it, and we just get the train moving. Once the train starts moving, it's hard to stop it. So, gathering up our inner superhero definitely gets that train moving. And once we get that train moving, we can't be stopped.
You are certainly right, Tamika. We each have that superhero in us, and once we know that we do, we may have to use, like I did, visualizations of other people for the moment. But that phrase, you fake it till you make it, and that's what I was doing. I was faking it till I make it. I was pretending I was somebody else until I became me. And so once I knew I had the power within me to do what I needed to do, I didn't need them anymore, because I knew I could do it within myself. And that's what we as women have to learn to do, learn how to harness or develop the power within us so that we can move confidently throughout our day, handle and do with any kind of task that we need to do, so that we can get done all the things we need to get done and walk in confidence and in peace and in victory. And how do we feel when we do it? We feel great. I know I felt great. After I gave up my position and 2 other people came in behind me, and I came back in as a PRN nurse, people were saying, Athena, do you want your position back? And I kept saying, no, because when I had it, you didn't appreciate me. So I know I felt good knowing at the back end that they really appreciated what I did, although they didn't show it when I was there. But when they compared me with the 2 others, then they knew that I had done my best and I was good. So I know that we have the power within us to do it. When we show up we show up and show out.
I think that's awesome, ladies. Definitely, us really, showing up and showing out, being the superhero within ourselves, and just making sure that we're moving forward, making sure that we're showing up each and every time. Sometimes other people see something within us that we don't even see within ourselves. So sometimes people would give us the opportunity, and I know sometimes we may see it as fear or see it as that we can't do it or something like that, but we have to then take that step. We have to then take that step for elevation and take that step for growth, because that's our time to step out. That's our time to step out on that stage. That's our time to really show up. We have everything within us. We have the superhero within us. We have everything in us that God has provided for us. So even when we get the opportunity, even when somebody tells us that, hey, I think you can do this, I think that you will be great at this, embrace it. Take that step. Take that step to really elevate. Take that step to really learn. Take that step to be the best that you can be, and find that superhero within you. Find that superhero within you and show up and show out every single time. Because when you do, every single time that you show up, you win. Every single time that you show up, you accomplish. Every single time that you show up, you're providing value for yourself and for every other woman that's out there.
That's so true. When we show up, we actually conquer. We conquer our fears, like Tamika said. We add value, like you said, Angela. And just as Athena said, when we show up, we get a chance to show out. And it does make us feel good. It builds our confidence, and it helps us to continue to do more of that which we've been called to do. But sometimes we as women, we get stuck right there. We show up, we show out, we feel good, and then we go on to the next thing. We fail. We absolutely fail to celebrate our accomplishments, and even as you said, Angela, our wins. So let's talk about celebrating. Isn't that important to celebrate?
Yes, it's definitely important for us to celebrate, because, I know it's hard, especially for women, for us to celebrate, the milestones and the things that we accomplish, because we're expected to do it all. We expect that we should show up and accomplish things on a day-to-day basis. And honestly, that's just something that we're used to doing. But we definitely need to stop and celebrate the things that we've accomplished, the successes that we have. And, for me, I just simply, take myself out, go celebrate with friends, announce your accomplishments. That's also another thing that you can do. And, just give yourself time to exhale in that moment of success. And that's a way that you're also refilling yourself for that next, big thing that you have to tackle, or the next success that may be coming up, or that next task, or that next position. That's also a way of refilling your cup once you poured out everything on whatever that project was, whatever that, accomplishment was, or that goal was. Definitely celebrating would really help you to refill yourself.
And celebration is very, very important. It also serves to, reinforce, our good deed, what we did, and also makes us want to do more, because we have now conquered something, and we know we can now go out and do it again, or do something else even greater. So celebrating your accomplishments is a good thing. And I also agree with you that we as women, we don't celebrate our accomplishments nearly enough, and I'm one of them, because we're so concerned with taking care of other people and other situations that we don't even take care of ourselves most of the time, to include celebrate, So I'm working on that too. So what I have done now, I have started to announce it. I share it with my family, through Facebook or instant messenger. I'll call them and say, hey, guess what happened? As we came out with our book, I shared it with everybody, and I just asked for people's support, and people started supporting me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I just didn't know that people would just ask. Hey, the Bible just asked, you shall receive. So I started receiving. And that was a celebration in itself as well. Not only for me, but for us, for the book, to get book sales. That was really great. So I also, try to go out. I know when I was home, because I'm not home right now, I'm in another state, I'd go out with my family every once in a while whenever they had an accomplishment that they want to celebrate, or I did. So just going out, hanging out with family and friends, that is another way. But I know we as women don't nearly celebrate ourselves and our accomplishments as much as we should, and that is something that we need to really work on.
I think you made a really, really good point, because a lot of times we don't, as women, celebrate ourselves, and I think it's so important to make sure that we're celebrating ourselves. I think many times we think that we should wait until the big accomplishment happens, not realizing that we should even celebrate the small accomplishments, even if it's a small win, to celebrate those as well too. I mean, I would always, wait for the big one. And now I'm starting to really realize that, hey, these small wins, I need to also celebrate those, because they are two accomplishments. And they're accomplishments for the ultimate, goal that I have. And so what I would do sometimes, a lot of times I take my kids if I'm out working or speaking or something like that, and they're there to really see, about committing, about showing up, about being there and everything. But I take them also to really see, and then at the end when I'm done or I'm speaking or I'm, off the stage, and we may high five each other, or sometimes, I have like the little, dance. I get back to the hotel room or something like that and do like a little dance, because it is an accomplishment, because I have to remember back those times that, hey, I couldn't even walk out on the stage without sweating bullets, or without getting nervous, or without, not wanting to really, speak or say a word. So every time that I walk on the stage, that's an accomplishment for me. Every time that I speak in public, that's an accomplishment for me. So, really just making sure that we're not forgetting about the little accomplishments along the way, that we're making sure that we are, also celebrating those, also, patting ourselves on the back, going out, with our friends like Tamika said, or, whichever, making sure that every time that we are celebrating ourselves for every accomplishment that we are making, every milestone, every, small goal that we are completing, that is so, so important.
I totally agree with both of you. You both have brought up some valid points. In fact, we all did, about we as women celebrating ourselves for each and every victory that we accomplish, no matter how small it is, because it's a stepping stone to that building block of our foundation. And that's what we need. We need a firm foundation of things that we have done, so that we can step up to the next plateau and look back and see that firm foundation of all those little accomplishments that we did, even though we may not think they were big, but they helped settle us inside to put that can-do-itness, yes, you can feeling inside of us. It put that feeling of yes, you can feeling inside of us, so that we know that when we have our next mission or next situation or next challenge, what we got inside of us, yes, we can. We can do it. So that is why we need to celebrate each and every victory, whether it's with our family, with our friends, whether on instant messenger or whatever. Celebrate it so that it can reinforce and feel that firmness inside of you of, you did it, girl. You did it. So what are we going to do now? Celebrate your son. Come on. Come on. Celebrate your time. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
What? Yes.
Come on. Yeah. Come on, ladies. You got going. Dun, 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 dun. Oh! Ladies, my sisters, I need you is back up now. Come on. We must celebrate ourselves because we owe it to ourselves. We are important and we deserve it so that we can show up and show out and celebrate your time. Come on.
Come on. It's a celebration.
Yes. I don't know all the words, but we know we got to do it. All right, I want y'all to sing with me. Celebrate your time. Come on. Come on. Celebrate your time. Come on.
Come on.
It's so important. Invite your sisters to celebrate with you. And ladies, that's what we need to do. We need to celebrate one another as women, celebrate each other's accomplishments. It is so time out for looking at each other going, well, okay, so no. It's time to get underneath each other, get with each other. Even if you can't sing the same note, be on the same song with each other and let each other know that we are proud of each other. Because we need each other to survive. We need each other to survive. So continue to show up, conquer, and make sure you celebrate. Nothing but the best of the best. That's what we're bringing you. And ladies, you totally gave us some good encouraging words, some inspiration that causes transformation. Thank you for being authentic and transparent, sharing your own story, and helping us to realize that it's time, women, that we can say we came, we conquered, and we celebrated. Leave us with a word of courage to take with us as we continue to fight and win.
Ladies, thank you so much for being here. And I just want to leave us with a quote. Show up in every way, in every single moment, like you're meant to be there, because champions don't show up to get everything they want. They show up to give everything that they have.
When it comes to your health and well-being, you should never take a one-size-fits-all approach, because life affects your health, and your health affects your life. The snowball effect of unresolved inner trauma or physical health concerns can be stopped, and the root of the problem can be found and healed. If you've been dealing with unresolved chronic health conditions or unhealed inner wounds, it's time to take a holistic approach to healing. As a trained holistic practitioner who has personally overcome multiple health concerns and inner wounds, Tamika Haynes is committed to helping and leading others to restoring their health, achieving optimal wellness, and putting the pieces back together to wholeness. Contact Tamika to schedule a free 25-minute consultation by calling 1-877-235-0373, extension 910.
And I just want to say, ladies, thank you so much for allowing us to come to you and minister to you at this time by sharing our story wisdom. And I, too, want to leave a word of encouragement that comes in the form of a quote by Pablo Picasso. Listen to this. It's very deep. Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone.
Ladies, do you feel stuck, stressed, unhappy with your body, and feel like no one really hears you? For years, Athena Blue struggled with these very same issues. Through her own healing journey, she discovered healthy ways to not only look and feel younger, but regain her confidence, power, and zest for life. Schedule your free emotional detox session with Athena now and learn the #1 thing you can do now to turn your life around. Call Athena today at 877-235-0373, extension 907.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. I can say that today you showed up. Today you took that step to show up. And I just want to leave you with this, to make sure every day that you wake up, that you get up and you have in your mind and you commit to yourself that you will show up each and every time, that you will not miss any opportunity, that you will embrace every moment of your life, that you will embrace every moment, that you'll be able to elevate yourself, that you'll be able to move yourself into the next level, that you will be the best person that you can be, and that you can provide value to yourself, that you can provide value to your family, your friends, and other women across this world, that you will not just sit there, that you will be a cheerleader for yourself, that you will be a motivator for yourself, to make sure that you will get up every single day and make the best of your life for everybody that's around you, for everybody that's in need of your word, for everybody that's in need of your ministry that you have. Everything that you have within, use it. Don't let it go. Use it to be the best person that you can be, to show up in your life and to show up for everybody that's waiting for you, to use the gift that God has given you. Show up and show out and be the best that you can be for the rest of your life.
Do you have a strategy plan for your life? Is your plan outdated or collecting dust as life passes you by? It's time to stop winging it and contact Angela Denise, your certified life coach. Angela is waiting to help you develop a strategic life plan to get your life back on track. Be the best you can be with strategies. Contact Angela today at www.askangeladenise.com.
Athena, Angela, Denise, and Tamika, thank you, ladies, so much for gracing us with your awesomeness and encouraging our heart, reminding us that the world is waiting for us to show up because there's greatness inside of us. And once we show up, we find the courage to conquer that which is before us. And thank you once again for reminding us not to stop with the fact that we've conquered and overcame, but to be sure to take time to celebrate our wins and invite other people to see the great things that are transpiring in our life. What an amazing, down-to-earth, authentic conversation, and I certainly enjoyed being a part of it.
Worldwide Women Speakers. We coach, speak, and train on purpose. Connect with us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com.
If you're hearing my voice, well, it's because you had the courage to show up. So thank you so much for being here today. Now, why you showed up? Well, only you can tell us that. What I can tell you is that your showing up can be a life-changing decision if you are willing to take what you've heard and what you're about to hear and apply it to your greatness. Yes, there is greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of each and every one of us, and there's really no limit to what we can achieve. And the truth is, this sometimes scares us. We allow our insecurities to get in the way, and so instead of us playing big, we play small. And sometimes we don't come to play at all. We will never reach our full potential or feel free and liberated by playing small or hiding in our shells or fearing being judged. And it's time today, my sister. It's time to step into your light. It's time to be the light. It's time to show up in the present moment with confidence. It's time for the world to speak on your behalf and shout out loud, "She came!" So what are you afraid of? What's keeping you from showing up today? No doubt, like all of us, you're being robbed by fear. Having a fear or fears always keeps us from showing up and letting our greatness shine. Fear is a part of our daily lives. We have big fears and little fears of average and extraordinary things. Now, while fear is a natural part of our existence, it can be one blocker and a showstopper and keep us from being successful and achieving great things. Yes, it's a part of our daily life. Matter of fact, it's one of the greatest challenges and obstacles that we face in our life. Fear can hinder us from exploring and experiencing life from a whole new perspective. And today it's time for you to show up by mastering your fear so you can open up a whole new perspective on life. It's time for you to experience happiness, a full life, a more lively and fulfilling life. So how do we do this? Well, it's important that we identify, embrace, and get comfortable with our fears. We identify our fears by determining what we cannot do, why we can't do it, and what we're afraid of when we do what we're afraid of doing. After identifying our fears and saying, hey, this is the thing I'm scared of, and here's why I'm scared, and this is why I won't do it. Somebody help. We become masters over our fear if we're willing to embrace it. In other words, be honest with yourself. Tell yourself, here's what I'm afraid of, and here's why. And then ask that most important question. Okay, so what's the worst thing that could happen? I used to be afraid to write. I used to always feel I couldn't write. I didn't want to write. I used to believe that what I wrote wasn't going to be good enough. And then one day I took time to just examine what that was all about. I had to admit that I was afraid. I had to tell myself why I was afraid. And then I had to figure out, was I going to stay afraid or do something about it? And I decided to do something about it. Now, the truth is I couldn't do it alone. I had to have someone walking with me, supporting me, and encouraging me. But I had to reach out and ask for help. And often as women, we're so afraid to ask for help. Identifying your fear, asking for help, they go hand in hand. Because there's no point of identifying your fear if you're not willing to embrace it and get past it. After we identify our fear and we embrace it, it's important that we get comfortable with it by engaging in the things that give us an opportunity to be afraid, but have the courage to go on anyhow. After all, courage is being afraid, but pressing in, doing it anyhow. As we do this, we build our confidence, and then we see that we get wiser and greater and better at what we're really afraid of. We become bigger than our fear. The truth is, fear is really just a state of mind. It comes when we condition our mind against engaging in some of the things that we thought we're protecting ourselves from. The good thing is we're in control of our fears. Our fears don't have to be in control of us. Anytime you feel fear creeping inside of you, acknowledge it. Embrace it. Don't let it take over your mind. Instead, we can use it to our advantage. The truth is sometimes fear helps us out by bringing out the best in us. A simple way to keep your fear in control is just taking deep breaths, and as the saying says, remain calm. Often when we're afraid, we get excited, and then we allow our mind to wander into the what-if world. Well, what if they don't like it? Well, what if I mess up? Well, what if it's not good enough? Well, what if? And then we get all bent out of shape. And you know what happens when we're bent out of shape? We can't think straight. We're bent out of shape. So the moment you feel fear creeping in, knocking at your door, just say no. So you know what? I feel this. I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to get comfortable with the fact that I don't like it, and I'm going to do something about it. And what's the best thing to do with something you're afraid of? It's to do the very thing you're afraid of. Very important. So how do we show up? We have to accept the fact that fear keeps us from showing up. Then we identify what that fear is, we embrace it, and then it's important that we take control over the fear by saying, I'm comfortable with the fact that I'm afraid of, because I don't have to live here, and I'm choosing to move. Yes, girl, the world is waiting to shout, she came. And the reason for that is because everyone knows that there's greatness inside of you. And once you do, you will conquer. So let's talk about how do we conquer our fears. You know, the fear that's scaring the crap out of you. So you can't even move forward or backwards. You're just like paralyzed. Because the truth is, that's what fear does. I used to be afraid to write. The truth is, I still don't like to write, but I'm no longer afraid because writing is just an expression of who I am. And I kind of I take that back. I love the skin I'm in. So writing about it has become easier and easier the more I do it. Can you imagine this, being afraid to write, so not writing, but then showing up one day and saying, hey, I'm going to identify what this fear is. I'm going to embrace it, and then I'm going to get comfortable with it, and I'm going to do it anyhow. Do you know that once I did that, I became a best-selling author? Would you believe today I have 7 books, and 4 of them are bestsellers? Why? Not because I'm the greatest writer, but because I decided to show up. And when I showed up, I was able to conquer my fears. I was able to live out my dream. I was able to achieve my goals. And it's time that you show up so you can conquer your dreams as well. And how do you know you've conquered? Well, number 1, you've recognized that you do have a fear and what it is. You owned it. You said, yes, I'm afraid, I'll admit it, but it's not going to stop me. And then you took the steps necessary to overcome whatever it was that was keeping you from showing up. Everybody has to work at their own pace to find success. The key is to continue to take one step at a time in the forward direction. And while you're walking, don't forget the talking. Because that's how you conquered. You had the courage to talk about it. You owned your fears. You talked about it. You didn't allow it to put you to shame and make you feel bad. You said, yes, I'm pushing through this. You created a system. You let other people know you had a plan. And you know, girl, it's always important to have people support you. But careful who you tell your plan to. And how do you know that you can conquer? Well, after you show up and you put those steps forward, you put one foot in front of the other, we have to learn to forgive ourselves for our past. That feeling of guilt and anxiety and shame, you know, those things come from fear. We have to learn to forgive ourselves so that we can find the courage to battle the fear that's holding us back. You know, I could have beat myself up and said, man, I could have had these books out a long time ago. But what would it profit? Nothing. I had to be willing to learn the lesson and forget the details of fear that kept me paralyzed in my tracks. And once I forgave myself, I was free to continue to create. Showing up is great. And when we show up, we have an opportunity to conquer. Fight your fears, and you will forever battle. Face your fears, and you're free. She came, she conquered. When I say she came and she conquered, girl, I'm talking about you. You see, we have a choice. We can conquer our fears, or our fears will conquer us. Go ahead, conquer your fears, because there is life on the other side of fear. It's where we learn, we grow, and we win. And the great thing about winning is we get to celebrate. The sad thing, however, is many of us as women, we stop right after we conquer and right before the celebration. We have excuses. We say things like, well, I don't want to draw attention to me. Well, it's not about me, and I don't want people looking at me. Girl, listen. We're right about one thing when we say things. We're right about the fact that it's not about us. And when we conquer and when we celebrate, we have to remember it's not about us. There are so many important things in life, such as learning and growing, loving and exploring, are all things that each person should take time for. Celebration, well, that's another important thing that should be on the list, as it adds excitement and lots of fun to our lives. When we celebrate, we have to remember it's not about us. It's giving other people an opportunity to see that they, too, can win. So what keeps us from celebrating? Actually, it's our mindset. If we develop a success mindset, then we understand that we want to change, we want to achieve more, we want to be happy, because at the end of that desire, success lies at the heart. And a large part of success is about our state of mind, our state of mind that says, hey, let's do some affirmations and let's do some visualization, and get this, write this down. Let's celebrate our success, because celebrating is another tool for cultivating a successful mindset. When we celebrate, we focus on what we've accomplished rather than a long, overwhelming list of what we still have to do. It's important that we celebrate each success. No matter how small the win, it's important that we cultivate our successful mindset. We have to tell ourselves, I am successful. I can succeed because I've succeeded before. Because when we do this, we build up a self-belief and a successful attitude. And what happens after that? We're esteeming our success. And when we esteem our success, we say, hey, I'm proud of what I've done, and I deserve to celebrate. When we celebrate our successes, then we start to see ourselves as successful rather than someone who's trying to become successful. You've taken the time to show up. You've overcome. You've conquered. Now it's time to give yourself the opportunity to be successful and to celebrate your wins, no matter how small, along the way. And why should we celebrate? Well, one of the best reasons to celebrate success is simply because it feels good. And when we feel good, we do good. We're driven to make changes in our lives because we want to feel better. We want to be happier. We want to feel good. Another reason to celebrate our success is because celebrating success isn't necessarily, as we said earlier, about us. It might be, but it also can give other people a chance to join in with the celebrations, they can become motivated to have their own successes, and they can have a change of heart, mind, and attitude. It's time we celebrate the small wins, the big wins, the efforts that we've put in. It's time to celebrate. Why don't we start off by celebrating you for showing up today and just being so amazing. What are you going to celebrate achieving today? Today is the day to toss some confetti in the air and celebrate. Decorate your soul with celebration. And always remember, the world awaits your greatness. I'm not tired, but my time is expired, and that means I got to let you go. There's some celebrating happening, and we celebrate you. It's time to show up, conquer, and don't stop there. Celebrate your wins. Big or small, let's celebrate them all.
Have the cares of this life seemingly choked the life out of you? Are you wanting or needing to start over after being hit hard in life? If so, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver, wants you to know that you are not alone and help is here. This is your season, and it's time for you to get up, get dressed, and show up. The good news is, you do not have to do it alone. Like you, RJ Jackson knows what it's like to have been knocked down over and over again. And RJ believes that life is not about how many times we get knocked down, but how many times we get back up. Reach out to RJ today at 1-877-235-0307, extension 909. She is waiting to encourage your heart and help lift you up.
Excuses eliminated and permission granted. It's time to show up, conquer, and celebrate. And the Worldwide Women Speakers, we would love to celebrate with you. So we invite you to connect with us today. Share your journey with us. We'd love to walk alongside of you. You may reach us on the World Wide Web at worldwidewomenspeakers.com. That's worldwidewomenspeakers.com. Or you can call us at 1-877-235-0373. That's 1-877-235-0373. We'll be there waiting to connect with you. You can connect with us individually, and you can find the resources you need to succeed. So let's go, girl. Show up. The world awaits your greatness. It's time to take action. Thank you for being the most valuable part of the Worldwide Women Speakers Online Conference. We are honored that you have journeyed with us today. And you know what? The journey has just begun. So let's go and be great.
Worldwide Women Speakers. We coach, speak, and train on purpose. Connect with us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com.